I'm good.
Topic number 4. Okay, this one, Tate running for prime minister in England, called the Bruv Party. And I feel like that's a perfect name. Like, how did this guy come up with such a name? I don't know. He's so like he's like a Trump, bro. He's literally like a Trump. He's like a younger version of Trump. If Trump was to be 35 years old or 40 years old, I don't know how old Tate is. It would be like a mirroring image.
But they're
The,
great.
the it's
He's great at
Bruv
adapting
Party.
to society. You know, he has to. All these politicians, where they fuck up, is they're still stuck in their old ways of how they
Yeah.
connect to society and the
Robots.
generations. The way Trump and Tate connect to society, you can tell like, oh, they actually think for themselves. Oh, they can actually see what the important generation that they have to target, that they have to talk to. They know how to do their
Yeah.
thing.
Because they actually believe in what they're saying. It's not
Yeah.
like these politicians who are puppets on strings and they're just repeating what the monitor is saying.
Mm-hmm.
They're speaking with intellect and um like belief coming from the heart. Like they mean what they say. And it may be you might like it, you might not. But once they're bringing in facts, then throw the emotional part away. Like I was saying earlier, stop getting so emotional about what people say. Somebody swearing at you is not shouldn't be causing harm. Believe it or don't. If you know they're causing some BS, turn that TV off, turn that phone off, take off your internet, bro. Just throw it all out. Throw the whole box out. Go breathe air. Go for a walk with your dog. Do something else.
Go breathe there.
The Bruv Party stands for Britain Restoring Underlying Values. What a great name.
Wow.
Yeah. And they are the ones that say, "Hey, bro."
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
No, that's a
What's
great
his,
name.
what's
Actually.
his thread saying though? I want to see what he represents.
So let's dive into the threads that he's been posting and going off about, and let's get our reaction and opinions on
Let's
what
do
he thinks and
this.
believes. So one of the main things that he stands on is immigration. He believes that all these unscanned people coming in boats and buses underground above gates, they've been coming in every single direction is what I'm saying. And being unscanned, they're changing the culture from the places they've left, which is under chaos or whatnot, and under certain beliefs, coming to England and changing the English way of life from within. And he goes into things like violence, stabbings. One thing he knows about is England been falling apart in terms of crime rate, girls getting raped because there's no respect. Like I said, people coming from different beliefs, looking at women in a different way. They don't. There's no value in the way they see women. So safety is a major issue, right? So let's read through some of the things that he's been going off about.
British men died for British soil. It is not yours, and you have no right to it. It is not a line on a map. It is an island defended with the lives of the brave. If you get on a boat, we won't let you in. We have no obligation to save you from that boat, no matter how rough the seas. You shouldn't be on the boat in the first place. You have no right to our land. Illegal immigration will fall to zero enforcement by the Royal Navy. Do not come to our isle. Do not risk it. We do not offer salvation, Prime Minister Tate. That's a strong
So
statement.
just on that first one, what do you guys think about that first thing he said?
British men died for British soil?
Well, everything he said, pretty much immigration. We had a whole episode on immigration and how what we thought about it. He's pretty much tying it very similarly to situations going around in Canada and the world, right?
Yeah, I think.
Now, some of the immigration we have in Canada was actually done legally, right?
Mhm.
But Europe is so close to other sides of the world that it's not legal immigration he's talking about. No, it's illegal. People quite literally coming in boats. Military aged men with different beliefs to what their culture is coming in boats and causing chaos amongst the streets. That's what he's talking about.
By the boatload.
By the boatload.
Yeah, I
And
think
not,
he's.
not
I
just
thought that
that,
was a good
but
point. I thought that was a fair point.
yeah.
I do like what he's going. Now let's keep going. We'll scroll down. All right, let's send somebody wants to touch on that. Miguel, do you want to touch on that?
No, just the main point is people went to war, bro. People fought and died and bled, to keep the country the way, they founded it to be, to keep those values. And now they're just throwing it all away. So those people died for nothing? That's crazy. You gotta respect what they stand for, And if you don't like it, you find somewhere else to go. That's it. Well, it's that
That's
simple.
it. Yeah.
Facts.
Okay. Scroll down.
One some Prime Minister Shamina Begun remains exiled from the United Kingdom. However, anyone who legally attempted to return her to our great nation is instantly deported and permanently banned from entry. No traitors. My man
So I'm not
standing
sure
on
exactly.
business.
Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly who Shamina Begum is, but based on no trader, I totally agree with anybody. Like you guys remember when Trudeau let the I think ISIS like ISIS tied person into Canada and allowed for refuge. Something along those lines. It happened not long ago, just in like maybe a few years ago, and it was a huge scandal going on in Canada about it. How we're pretty much welcoming, um, pretty much allegedly terrorists within the country and allowing them to seek refuge. This is goes like, somewhere along those lines. You had any intention to destroy the country, you should be seen as a traitor and be gone.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I didn't
I
see
don't
that
think
news,
there's
but
anything
I
wrong in
agree
them
with
saying
that.
that.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good.
Keep going,
Standing on
Joe.
business.
Keep going.
My man standing on
Next.
business. There has never been more hate for British government than this very moment. They allow our children to be raped. They allow our pensioners to starve. They pontificate, but nothing ever changes. When I am prime minister, all of my political goals will come with a time limit. If I do not achieve them by set time, I will step down. Accountability and instant action. Instant change. Prime Minister Tate. That's what we need
Another great
politicians,
point.
bro. Politicians do they just blur out what they think people wanna hear and then they don't stand by it. They don't stand on business. Like Kamala with all her bullshit. One minute she's black, one minute she's Indian, one minute she's this, one minute she's that. She just want people like it came so ridiculous that she was bringing rappers and things to get people's votes and people's agreements. Like they gotta stop with this stuff with the politicians. Just
Right. Or
say what
Trudeau.
you
Or
gotta
Trudeau.
say and follow what you're gonna say. If you don't
You got
accomplish what you say by a certain time, you gotta step down.
you
Plain-
gotta love that some people are yelling at Andrew Tate. Pay your taxes first.
I can say that though.
And look who it is.
Because
Dumbass.
he's it's where he's got tax fraud cases on him.
Once again, they're going to the emotional side of people, hitting them
Yeah.
with propaganda and people getting emotionally inflicted, and his image will never be recovered in some people's eyes because they don't have the time to get informed. Some people are still going off about the things that allegedly happened without understanding that the case been dropped. Yeah, and going back to the point you're just saying, with limit on the time that you say making a promise to the people, and if not, be having to step down. Another great example, how you're saying Justin Trudeau saying that the budget will be balanced. It's written in stone or something along those lines.
It'll balance
8 years
itself.
later, 8 years later, he quite literally did the exact opposite and doubled our debt. That should not be allowed. That should be on everybody's TV. That should be on everybody's phone. But because of the control that they have through the TVs and everything that they have, power over with money, people will never come to understand these things.
Yeah.
Next.
So there are currently 0 politician parties which are brave enough to address the issues facing the UK. They are all weak and afraid of the media. None of them put them on blast like I do. They're all cowards in front of BBC. They all cowered in front of BBC. I do not cower in front of pedophiles. I will be launching a brand new political party which is unwavering and unafraid. No compromise. Announcement soon. Great.
Right.
Amazing.
As you said, stand on the business you're talking about. If you make a promise, stand on that. If there's foreign pressure, you should have somebody in power to stand up to that. If there's people behind the scene making and pulling strings, and they're telling you to move a certain way because that's the way they see the world going. For example, the 2030 agenda, the Davos agenda, any of these agendas. No, if you're a prime minister or a president, you're looking for your own people, not for globalist agendas. So you need somebody in power to have the guts to stand up to these people who are not afraid of the repercussion, like threats. And I think he's been literally one of the guys who's been targeted for a long period of time, and he's seen, he made it on the other side. He was able to stand on what he's been standing on from the beginning, and he made it to say the things that he did with as time passed. Anybody want to say anything on that? Sorry.
Well, the main thing, like the reason he mentioned pedophiles is because they literally had on, like, I think one of their main news anchors or whatever, who was talking about Tate, who was broadcasting their trial and basically calling them sex predators and all that stuff. That guy, and not just him, were actually pedophiles, and they actually were convicted, right? So there's people online that are using those clips or that are reiterating those guys talking shit about Andrew Tate, and they're just literally copying the views of a pedophile. Then the pedophiles get caught, and then there's no remorse, there's no accountability. They just, oh, okay, whatever, it's all good, and they'll continue listening to the BBC as if that didn't just happen. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, rules for thee, but not for me.
The whole case with Jeffrey Epstein and the Queen's grandson, fucking Prince Andrew, like what? That's fucking.
Yeah, how long did that make the headlines?
Bro,
it's crazy,
he should have been convicted or something. This guy got away with nothing.
But they're still running off with Andrew Tate's BS, and some people still believe that he's still convicted of some nonsense.
Yeah, let's move on.
Next.
We do not want national inquiries. We want broadcasted court cases for full transparency on abuses and jail sentences. We want action. We are tired of words. We want justice. Prime Minister Tate. That's a great picture, by the way. That is amazing.
Yeah. So once again, facts. We want these. We want transparency. Transparency is the number one thing as people put in place to represent the people. We want full accountability and understanding for what they're doing and what's happening. Something we're missing nowadays.
I actually have one of the clips. I don't know if you want to continue, but it basically summarizes everything he's trying to say here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's run through that.
A long enough time frame, I will win. My promise to everyone at home is that I will deliver my manifesto instantly and efficiently. You can download the manifesto at votebruv.co.uk for free, and you will be able to see exactly how I intend to fix the UK. If I do not implement my manifesto within 3 months of power, I will step down myself. If I take power and shadow interests, hidden figures prevent me from implementing my manifesto, I will tell all of you why they are stopping me and who they are. I will be transparent and explain exactly why we cannot fix our country. I understand by doing this, they're going to try and put me in jail like they already have. I understand by doing this, I'm making very powerful enemies. But men must live for something larger than themselves. Their perma-failure will eventually lead to their destruction, and we will reunite as a country and take our borders back. There is nothing left to lose. There is no longer any time to wait. Our country is falling apart around us, and in this world where things move faster than they ever have, the process is accelerating. America has managed to save itself with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And now the United Kingdom needs somebody who is prepared to do the hard things which must be done, who is prepared to be the bad guy, who's prepared to take the heat and risk his life to save our once great nation before it is too late. If you would like to see me as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, you can support the Bruv mission, Britain Restoring Underlying Values, simply by signing up for the email list at votebruv.co.uk.
I vote bruv. I vote bruv.
I vote bruv. Vote bruv.
I'm not even British, but I vote.
That was so well said. It's insane. So well said. Like it puts a fire in you, and like to be urgent about everything moving forward. That's what you need. That's what a country needs to put things back into place. We're talking about Canadian issues and how fast somebody like Poilievre is going to be able to move, and talking about urgency. We want that for our country. That's literally what Tate is doing for Britain, and how he's trying to move with Britain. Crazy.
That clarity is good. I mean, I don't know if we have to go to the next clip. We could just move on, but the next clip is just.
No, let's do it.
Yeah, the next clip is just basically Andrew Tate, because he joined Islam, right? He was a Christian, and then he joined Islam, and now he's hard on immigration. So you got all these, and he's pretty much denouncing the problem that they're having about how there's a pattern of young girls getting assaulted, and how the when you look at the convictions, there's a pattern of it being, I think, Pakistani men or Muslim men, right? So now the Muslim community, the community that he supported, especially when the Israel-Gaza situation was going on, now a lot of them are turning against him, right? Because they don't like their group being attacked. But luckily, Tate is a guy that sticks to the truth, so he doesn't care about how he looks within the group, right? He's just going to call it for what it is. So this is a good clip of him pretty much expressing that truth. So it's important to play.
Are upset with me right now. They're arguing the semantics of a post I made explaining that people, white Christians, are going to be very Islamophobic if we do not come out in defense of young innocent children. And they're not thinking correctly for a few reasons. One, because if we only allow Zionists to be the ones who are against the rape of children, then Zionists are going to appeal to the masses, because most people agree that little kids shouldn't be raped. And that, considering it was Muslim men who committed these heinous acts, we as Muslims should be offended and come out against them. Secondly, they're saying, oh look, but a white man raped kids too. That's not what we're talking about. People of all races and all ethnicities rape kids. What we're talking about, the fact that when Muslims do it, it's covered up by a government. When a white man does it, it is not. These are actually completely different subjects, but these people are too stupid to understand them. They've attacked me now, and they think by trying to vilify me and endlessly attack me for clicks, somehow it's going to help them in their standing in Western societies. And I want to make something very clear. I live in the most Christian country in the world. My reversion to Islam was extremely risky to do. I'm in the middle of the largest and most famous criminal case on the planet. All of my judges are Christians. I live in a Christian society that is very fearful of Muslims. I have suffered for my reversion. I also stood up to Piers Morgan on October 8th, the day after, and against all legal advice, made it clear that what was happening was a genocide. And I stood up on the most watched platform on the planet in the middle of a criminal case with Christian judges judging me, and I stood there defending Muslims. And this same community of Muslims then turn on me and attack me because I gave my daughter a Christmas present, because you're not supposed to celebrate Christmas. And they start saying I'm not really a Muslim because I tried to give my daughter a Christmas present, and I need to argue with them about the Quran on my Twitter all day, and I need to reply to them, otherwise I'm afraid of them. You people are not in control of Islam at all. It's not yours. You don't own it. And I don't owe you a fucking thing. You're all irrelevant because you're just sitting there all day tweeting at me as I've blocked you. And I will block every single person who comes at me in bad faith. If you come at me in good faith for a conversation that you want to have, a logical conversation about Islam, I'd love to do that. I'd enjoy it. But when you come at me attacking me to try and get clicks, you just get blocked. It's insanity. The hubris and the lack of respect that these people are operating under does nothing which is positive for the image of Islam. And anybody who is defending child rapists just because they're Muslims is aiding Islamophobia and aiding the narrative control that certain populations inside on this planet want to have when it comes to Muslims. So, if you dislike me, you can dislike me. If you think I'm not a real Muslim, that's up to you. I know the truth of my heart, and Allah knows the truth of my heart.
So let's make something very clear about this situation. I do personally have quite a few Muslim buddies. They do have sisters, and they do not condone anything about child rape. And let me say this: if something was to happen to one of their sisters or one of their friends' sisters, it would quite literally be a ticking time bomb on who could get to the suspects first, the cops or them. Very serious. And just because there's some extremism on people believing that type of ideology, it doesn't paint a picture with everybody in that community. Just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with what he said. That was definitely great that he doesn't stand on that he did that. Like he made it clear that like just because I'm part of this religion, I'm part of this group, it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna criticize them when they're doing something wrong. There's definitely
and he's talking about specific small amount of people that do believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
So he comes back to an idea of what the truth is and what he believes in and what common sense is. and he's running off with that, which it's facts. Like nobody should condone, and you should not bring that into a Western ideology and culture. I do not condone that. Would not want that. And him standing as a Muslim, and so as I have friends myself, we do not want that type of ideology here. We do not want that. If I don't have a daughter, but if I was to have a daughter, that would drive any one of us absolutely insane to believe that anybody would want that or condone that.
Yeah. And the problem isn't necessarily like all Muslims, right? The problem isn't all whoever, any group, right? The problem is that there's a certain pattern in a certain area of the world, and for some reason there's some leniency there when it comes to the authority, right? The police and how they're convicting them or what they're doing about it, right? Let's just say they're not doing much about it, and that's why Englishmen are getting mad. And then you have the media or then sensitive people that are turning it into a race thing. Oh, Muslims versus Christians. And at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's just about being able to have the conversations, being able to talk about the patterns that are occurring, right? And then see, okay, how can we fix it? You know, so if you're a Muslim and there's like in this specific case, right, this is what's happening, then you should be able to just be like, hey, I don't agree with that, like Adrian said, right? Because I'm sure most of them do not agree with it, right? But if you're then going on Twitter and you're choosing to accept that, oh no, this is racism, and then you're just being super defensive, then now you're the one contributing to the division, right? Contributing to people thinking like, oh, is this actually a Muslim thing? Which clearly it's not. So
yeah.
You know, we got to be
once again, the defense in most cases, like putting an image, putting a label. Oh, you don't believe in that? Now you're not a Muslim. No, that's just common sense. I wouldn't want my daughter to get raped. No, wouldn't that, like, why does that like go over people's heads? You're gonna kick somebody out of a belief, and then he's right. Who, like, you don't control, like, those people who believe in extreme circumstances, you guys, they don't control the religion. Allah knows his intention, which seems to be positive. How we, like, once again, being informed about situations that are going on in his life, we understand that he doesn't have malevolent intentions.